My friend has been missing for 2 years. That's what everyone says. That's what the flyers say. That's what her mother says when she calls me, still every single week. That's what the police file says. Voluntary missing person, no leads, case open. 2 years. Missing. But I know where she is. She's in Los Angeles. She has a job. She has a place to sleep. She texted me herself from a number I couldn't call back on a phone she probably threw away right after, and she told me she was okay. She told me she was building something. She asked me not to tell her mother, and I haven't. I'm gonna tell you everything, not because I've figured out the right thing to do. I haven't, but because I've been carrying this for a year and a half, and the weight of a secret this size changes the shape of you if you hold it long enough. So, from the beginning, her name is Adase Okonkwo, 22 years old when she disappeared, chemistry student, middle child of 3, daughter of Mrs. Patricia Okonkwo, who makes the best egusi soup in the entire state, and who has called me every single week for 2 years asking the same questions. Have you heard anything? Did anyone reach out to you? Was she in trouble? Was she happy? That last question is the one that stayed with me. Was she happy? I said yes every time because what was I supposed to say? That I didn't actually know? That we talked every day and I sometimes felt like I was only ever seeing the outside of her? That Adase was one of those people who could be completely present and completely unreachable at the same time? I want to tell you about the last time I saw her. It was a Tuesday, the most forgettable day of the week, which is probably why I didn't know it was the last time. She was wearing a yellow hoodie, one she'd had since secondary school, washed so many times the drawstrings had frayed into little cotton threads. She always chewed the ends when she was thinking. I used to find it disgusting. I'd give anything to see her do it now. We were at the bus stop near her mother's house, the one by the pharmacy that always smelled like antiseptic and cheap perfume. We were arguing about something stupid. I can't even remember what. I think it was about a boy neither of us even liked. The kind of argument you have when you're 22 and the world feels wide and safe, and you think there will always be another Tuesday. She said, "You're so dramatic." I said, "You're the dramatic one." She laughed. That big, unfiltered Adase laugh, the one that made strangers turn around on the street, not because it was loud, but because it was so genuine, like she was laughing for the first time every time. Her bus came before mine. She jogged toward it, one strap of her backpack falling off her shoulder, and she turned around and pointed at me like a warning, "We'll finish this," and then she was gone. That was March 14th. I remember the date now because her mother made me say it so many times. 3 days later, Adase was missing. Or, and this is the part I've had to sit with for a very long time, 3 days later, Adase was gone. The police did what police do, filed a report, asked questions, took her photo, put her on a list. She was an adult, 22, no signs of foul play, nothing at the house disturbed, and so officially, legally, she became a voluntary missing person, which is a phrase that sounds almost kind, but is actually a slow way of saying, we think she left on purpose, so we're not going to look very hard. Her mother did not accept that. Mrs. Okonkwo printed flyers, hundreds of them. She taped them to poles, slid them under doors, handed them to strangers with the desperation of someone handing out lifelines. Adase's face everywhere. That photo from the departmental dinner where she's mid-laugh, head tilted, like the camera caught her by surprise. I helped with the flyers for 3 weekends. Then school pulled me back, then work, then life did what life does. It kept moving, even when you didn't want it to. But Mrs. Okonkwo never stopped, and neither did the guilt. 2 years. Missing. People ask me, do you think she's okay? And the honest answer is that I've thought about this question approximately 7,000 times, and I still don't have a clean response. Because here's the thing about Adase. She was not a woman without a plan. She was not the kind of person that things happened to. She was the kind of person who made things happen, who moved through the world with intention, who always, and I mean always, had a reason for whatever she did. So when she disappeared, I knew 2 things simultaneously and in contradiction. 1, If she left, she meant to leave. 2, she didn't tell me, and that felt like a kind of death. We'd been friends since we were 11 years old. 11. We grew up together in the way that only childhood friends do, not always close, sometimes going months without talking, but always returning to each other like rooms in a house we both knew. She was in my life before I had words for what friendship meant, before I understood that some people just become part of your architecture. So when she vanished, the grief wasn't clean like a funeral. There was no ceremony, no casseroles from neighbors, no collective mourning, just a slow, leaking absence, like a pipe in the wall you can hear but can't see. I started having a recurring dream about her. She's always in the yellow hoodie, she's always walking away from me, and I'm always calling her name, but nothing comes out. Not a whisper, not even a breath, just the shape of her name in my mouth. I looked that up once, dreaming of someone walking away and being unable to speak. The internet said it means unresolved communication and unexpressed guilt. I closed the tab immediately. The guilt was specific. That's the part they don't tell you about grief. It's not this vague, floating sadness. It has a shape, a texture. Mine was made of all the times I noticed something was off with Adase and didn't push. There was a period, maybe 6 months before she disappeared, when she got quiet. Not silent, Adase was never silent, but quieter. She stopped volunteering information. She started answering questions instead of building conversations. She laughed a little less often, or maybe the same amount, but it felt more practiced. I noticed. I didn't ask. I told myself she was stressed about school, her thesis, her mother. I gave her the grace of privacy because I thought I was being a good friend. I thought I was giving her space. Now I wonder if she was waiting for me to ask, if she was putting out a signal I was too comfortable to receive. Month 4 after she disappeared, I stopped waiting for my phone to ring with news and started living with the possibility that the news might never come. That's its own kind of grief, of an unanswered question, of a story with no ending. I put her contact in my phone under a little yellow star. I don't know why. I couldn't bring myself to delete it. I also couldn't bring myself to text it, which felt like broadcasting into a void. So I just kept it. A yellow star in a phone for a girl in a yellow hoodie who walked onto a bus and didn't come back. It was a Thursday evening, 13 months after she disappeared. I was sitting in my apartment, eating rice I hadn't seasoned properly, watching a show I wasn't really watching, the kind of evening that exists to be forgotten. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't open it. "It's me. I'm okay. Please don't tell my mother yet. I need time. I'll explain everything one day. I just needed you to know I'm alive. A." I read it 4 times. 5 times. I put my phone down, I picked it back up, I read it 6 more times, and then I sat in the middle of my apartment floor, not on the couch, not at the table, just directly on the floor, and I cried in a way I hadn't since I was a child. Not sad crying, not happy crying, somewhere in between. The kind of crying your body does when something it's been holding for a very long time is suddenly allowed to be put down. She was alive. I tried to call the number immediately. It rang 4 times and disconnected. Not voicemail, just disconnected, like the disposable phone, like a phone used once and then pointed away from the world. I texted back, "Adase, where are you? Please talk to me." The message delivered. She never responded. For the next 3 days, I lived in a strange limbo. I had information that her mother needed, information that would change everything for Mrs. Okonkwo, who was still taping flyers to polls, still calling me once a week, still sleeping with her daughter's pillow on the other side of the bed. I knew because she told me. But Adase had asked me not to tell her yet. Yet. That word. So small, so deliberate. She didn't say never. She said yet, which meant she knew this was temporary. She knew she'd have to face her family eventually. She was asking me for time, for trust. And the question that kept me up for 3 nights straight was this. Do I owe my loyalty to Adase, who asked me to keep her secret? Or do I owe it to Mrs. Okonkwo, who has been living in a nightmare for over a year? I called my older sister. I told her everything without saying Adase's name, like that would somehow make it less real. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "The fact that she texted you means she still trusts you. The fact that she didn't give you more information means she's protecting something or someone. Or someone. I hadn't thought of that." Here is what I know. Adase is in Los Angeles. I know this because 3 months after the first text, she texted again. This time she told me, not much, just a city. Los Angeles, a fragment, like she was giving me something but making sure it wasn't enough to act on alone. "I'm in Los Angeles. I have a job. I have a place to sleep. I'm building something. Please give me more time." More time. It had been 16 months. I Googled Los Angeles, like that would help. Like I could look at a city of 4 million people and somehow find her face in it. I looked at photos of the city, the wide roads, the palm trees, the strange flatness of it all, so different from the traffic and color and noise of home. I tried to imagine Adese there, in that light, in that city. I could picture it easily. Adese was always someone who looked like she belonged wherever she was. That was her gift. She had the kind of presence that adapted. Not fake, not performed, just fluid. She could walk into any room and find the frequency. I just hadn't known she was capable of walking into an entirely different life. I started to piece things together, quietly, without telling anyone. The quietness in the 6 months before she left, the way she'd started doing things on her phone and angling the screen away, which I'd assumed was just a habit. A conversation we had once, maybe 2 years before she disappeared, where she said, "Do you ever feel like the person your family needs you to be and the person you actually are have just drifted so far apart that the gap becomes its own kind of lie?" I'd said something glib like, "That's literally everyone's family," and moved on. I hadn't moved on in my mind for 2 years. Because here's the thing I've sat with, that I've turned over and over and over in the dark. What if Adese didn't disappear? What if Adese escaped? And what is my responsibility in that case, as her friend, as someone who loves her, as someone who also loves her mother? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, just tell the mother. The woman deserves to know her daughter is alive. And you're right, but you're also not accounting for the reason Adese hasn't told her herself. Whatever she's running from or running toward, whatever gap between who she was supposed to be and who she was becoming, it involves her mother. It has to, because Adese is not cruel. She is not indifferent. If her mother's suffering were only collateral damage, Adese would have found a way to cause less of it by now. Which means the distance is the point. Which means telling Mrs. Okonkwo isn't just giving her comfort, it's potentially taking away the only protection Adese has built. I am not a perfect friend. I am not a perfect person, but I know Adese well enough to know this. When she says not yet, she means not yet. It's been 2 years since she disappeared. That's what I said at the beginning. 2 years. Adese has been missing from her mother's life for 2 years. But she hasn't been missing from mine, and that's the secret I carry every day, like a stone in both hands, careful not to drop it, careful not to squeeze too tight. She texts me every few months now. Short messages, always from different numbers, never her location again, just fragments, proof of life, like she's maintaining a signal. I made jollof rice for my coworkers. They said it was the best thing they'd ever eaten. I thought of your mom's recipe. It rained in LA today. Proper rain, not that mist they get here. I stood outside in it. I think I might be happy. Is that okay to say? Does that make me terrible? That last one I've read so many times the words have worn smooth. Does that make me terrible? I texted back, no, it makes you human. She sent a single emoji, a yellow star. I don't know what she's building in Los Angeles. I don't know who she's building it with or what she left behind that made leaving necessary, or what her life looks like in the specific, the apartment, the job, the people she eats dinner with. I don't know if she misses us the way we miss her. I suspect she does. I suspect missing us is something she lives inside of every day, and that she has decided to live inside of it anyway, because whatever is on the other side of that choice is something only she can weigh. And I've come to believe, slowly, reluctantly, painfully, that it is not my weight to carry for her. Here's what I haven't told you. 3 weeks ago, Mrs. Okonkwo called me. Not the weekly check-in call, a different kind of call, a 6 a.m. call, the kind that makes your heart move before you've even found your voice. She said, "I need to tell you something I should have told you a long time ago." And then she told me. Before Adeyeze disappeared, she had come to her mother with something, a conversation she'd been planning for months, probably longer. She had sat her down in that sitting room with the lace curtains and the framed family photos, and she had tried to tell her something true about herself, about who she was, about who she loved. And her mother, a woman who loves her daughter more than she loves anything in the world, had not responded well. She hadn't been violent, she hadn't been monstrous, she had just been closed, immovable. She had said the words that parents say when they don't know how to hold something new, when fear dresses itself up as faith and righteousness. She had said things she could not take back, and 3 days later, Adeyeze was gone. Mrs. Okonkwo has spent 2 years telling everyone, the police, the flyer readers, the neighbors, me, that she doesn't know why her daughter left. She knew exactly why her daughter left. She just couldn't say it out loud until now. And she was calling me because she had changed, because grief will change you in ways that comfort never could, because 2 years of sleeping with your daughter's pillow and taping her face to poles will eventually break open even the most closed heart. She was calling me because she wanted me to know that if I had any way at all to get a message to Adeyeze, she needed me to tell her. Tell her I'm sorry. Tell her she didn't understand. Tell her she can come home. She didn't ask me if I knew where Adeyeze was. Maybe she'd already guessed. Maybe she just needed to say it into whatever connection existed between me and her daughter. Into the air. Into the possibility. I have a draft saved in my phone. I've had it for 3 weeks. It says, "Adeyeze, your mother called me. She said she's sorry. She said she didn't understand. She said you can come home. I'm not sending this to pressure you. I'm sending it because you deserve to have the choice, and because some choices shouldn't be made based on outdated information. Whatever you decide, I'm here. Me." I haven't sent it. I don't know why. Maybe because once I send it, the story moves and I lose control of what it becomes. Maybe because I've been the keeper of this secret for so long that releasing it feels like releasing a part of myself too. Or maybe, and this is the thought that keeps sitting down next to me, uninvited, maybe because I'm afraid of what it means if she reads it and still decides not to come back. Or maybe, and this is the thought that keeps sitting down next to me, uninvited, maybe because I'm afraid of what it means if she does come back. Because if Adeyeze comes back, I have to reckon with everything I didn't do. I have to sit across from Mrs. Okonkwo and hold the full weight of what I knew and when I knew it. I have to answer questions I don't have clean answers to. I have to be the friend who kept the secret and also the friend who eventually helped break it open, and somehow be both of those things at once. There's no version of this where my hands are completely clean. But then I think about Adeyeze, standing outside in proper Los Angeles rain, making jollof rice for coworkers who'd never heard of it, asking, does that make me terrible? A woman in a city 4,000 miles away, building something from scratch, asking the people she loves from a safe distance, in fragments through disposable phones, for the only thing she ever actually needed, permission. I think I'm going to send the text, not because I've figured out the right answer. There may not be one, not because I know what Adeyeze will do with it, or what Mrs. Okonkwo will feel, or what it means for all the space between what happened and what we hoped for.
I'm going to send it because Azieze trusted me with the truth, and Mrs. Okonkwo trusted me with her apology. And the least I can do, the very least, is trust them both enough to let those two things finally meet. So, do you think I should send it? Because I genuinely don't know. I've been going back and forth for 3 weeks. Some days I open the draft and my thumb is right there, and then I close the app and put my phone face down and walk to another room. Some days I think, what kind of friend sits on something like this? Other days I think, what kind of friend breaks a trust that was given to her like something sacred? I don't have the answer, and I really think that's why I'm telling you this story, because maybe you see something I can't. Maybe you've been through something like this. Maybe you know what it feels like to be the person in the middle, holding two people's truths, trying not to crush either one. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. Should I send it? Should I wait? Should I call Adeyeze first and warn her? Should I tell Mrs. Okonkwo everything and let her send her own message? I want to know what you think. I genuinely want to know. And if this story stayed with you, if you've been sitting here thinking about loyalty and friendship and the impossible weight of knowing something you didn't ask to know, then like this video. It takes 2 seconds and it means more than you think. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this story is not over. The moment I send that text, the moment anything changes, you will be the first to know. I'm not going to leave you in the middle of this. We started this together, and we'll find out together what happens next. Her name is Adeyeze Okonkwo. She's in Los Angeles. She's alive. And somewhere on my phone, there is a draft message that could change everything. I just have to decide